Welcome back to Part 8, MPIT in plain English terms. The sad reality of mental health, the lonely path back. After narcissistic abuse, there's a brutal truth most survivors don't expect. You may have to walk much of this road completely alone. Once you begin healing, the mask begins to fall, the pseudo-false self, the part of you that kept others comfortable, that overfunctioned, that absorbed the chaos, begins to collapse. This collapse is healthy, but devastating. As that structure dissolves, the people around you often don't know how to relate to the real you. The truth self is cautious. The mute child is awakening. The redeemer ego wants to overperform. And the external world, it usually wants the old version of you back. Some people stay, and that matters. Not everyone leaves. There will be a few, sometimes just one, who remain. These people are anchors, and their presence matters more than words can express. But it's also crucial that these people give you space to grieve and rediscover yourself without demanding performance. The phase isn't just about losing relationships, it's about learning who is safe. And sometimes safety comes from stillness, a phone call, a message, a friend sitting beside you saying nothing. You don't need advice, you need witnessing. Toxic positivity, for instance, can be devastating. You need to give yourself a shake. You just need to move on. Don't let them bloody win. These phrases may be well meaning, but to a survivor in collapse, they are experienced as emotional violence. Why? Because they bypass the reality of what's happening. You're not just sad, you're in symbolic collapse. The narcissistic introject is still alive inside your head, punishing you. Your nervous system is on high alert. Your sleep is disrupted. Your thoughts are recursive. You're grieving a person who didn't exist and a life that never was. This isn't laziness, it's survival. Isolation is a safety response, but heed, it can turn dangerous. Survivors often isolate, not because they don't want support, but because they can't tolerate stimulation. Conversations become overwhelming. Light, noise, even simple decisions feel unbearable. This is the nervous system dysregulation, and it's not a choice. However, too much isolation can create increasing depressive collapse. What you need is safe anchoring, a trauma informed therapist who listens without fixing, a friend who checks in without judgment, a space that allows you to feel without suppression. Safety is everything. Recovery doesn't begin with clarity, it begins with containment. Internal patience is everything. While external support matters, internal patience is critical. You will be frustrated. Your mind will play tricks on you. You'll want to speed up the healing, lash out, isolate, disassociate, perform, numb out, or all at once. The mute child inside wants safety. The redeemer ego wants to fix everything fast. The false self protector keeps scanning for ways to cope. And the truth self often feels too scared to speak. Here, compassion is a must, not just from others, but from within yourself. This is the time to speak gently, to get curious about your reactions, to forgive your impatience, and to allow yourself to fall apart if you need to. This is how healing happens in human time, not trauma time. Communication has to change with yourself and others. Non violent communication, NVC, becomes essential here. Not just as in what you say and how you listen, but being kind, be slow, stay curious. Most importantly, everyone is working from their own emotional blueprint, including your anchors, those people external of you. Ruptures will happen, misunderstandings will sting, but that doesn't mean it's over. It's how you repair that matters. And this is the most critical point of affect regulation is rupture and repair. Using transactional analysis to observe your own ego states is incredibly powerful. It walked me through my childhood, my teenage years, my early relationships, my marriage, and the relationship that broke me in such a beautiful, safe way, and I highly recommend it. Are you speaking from your adult, your child, or your parent state? Are you expecting others to rescue you? Or are you building self trust? We're back to expectations again. Are you projecting your pain onto others or pausing before reacting, finding the space for yourself to respond? These are questions that help us grow slowly, honestly, humanely, and you will see other people's object relations too. Suddenly things shift. You start recognizing the unresolved trauma in others, the control, the avoidance, the projection, the shame. You realize that some people were never loving you. They were loving a version of you that fitted their object fantasy. This realization is painful. It can feel like a second discard. You will outgrow many, not because you're better, but because you're healing, and they're not ready to. Early re-socializing is dangerous if the central nervous system is not ready. You may feel pressure to get back to normal, to return to work, to meet up with friends and to be social again. But if your nervous system has been compromised by long-term narcissistic abuse, you may not be ready. You'll find yourself emotionally hypervigilant, scanning others' faces in threat for tone, listening intensely and misreading cues, exhausted after short interactions. And most importantly, you'll be scanning for them, and that's not what you want. This is not weakness. This is post traumatic injury, and it must be met with support, not shame. The injury returns in waves. Somatic healing is essential. Even when you feel better, you are still carrying an injury. Weeks, months, years of stability can vanish in a moment, triggered by a memory, scent, a date, or a dream. This is not failure. This is the body keeping the score. This is why somatic healing is essential. Breathwork, movement, ground practice, sensory regulation. These tools reconnect the nervous system to the present. You cannot logic your way through grief. You must feel your way through safely. What helps in this phase is trauma-informed therapy with a focus on relational abuse, a total split from all symbols of the shared fantasy, photos, messages, memories, anchoring routines, no matter how small, internal and external compassion without pressure, honest communication and patient listening, curiosity, not judgment, especially with yourself, somatic practices to regulate your body's stress response, the courage to start again when it feels pointless. And here's the final word. This is the work. It doesn't look like healing. It doesn't feel like healing. It feels like collapse, confusion, grief, and distance. But this is healing. You are no longer abandoning yourself. You are no longer keeping others safe at the cost of your own life. You are finally letting go of the shared fantasy and beginning to author your own life. This is what health looks like, and it's lonely, sacred, sacred, unstoppable thing. And it's a lonely sacred, unstoppable thing. Peace out. Loads of love.